Hey, it's Joe. Today, it's the second one of the day. I missed yesterday, so I'm doing two today. I put out one earlier about brainwashing yourself, about affirmations and the real purpose of them. That one's the one right before this one. Watch it if you haven't. It's important and useful. This one's going to be more of a kind of rambly one. I was talking about rambly and vulnerable, and like philosophical, I guess. But it has to do with uncertainty, and I'm noticing that uncertainty is one of my biggest fears. I am afraid of not knowing what's going to happen. I want to be in control of things. I want to create order with things that I don't know. And to a large extent, that's a good thing. To a large extent, that's the positive aspect of masculinity is creating order within chaos, making things make sense, making things work, putting things together. My friend has a cat. I'm allergic to cats. My nose is stuffed full of ham and cheese right now. But men create order. That's masculinity, and I am right now noticing that I have this fear of uncertainty, and um, it's good to an extent, but when it's good because it propels me to create order, to work on myself, to create boundaries, to create systems, etc., so that I can control my environment to an extent. But there's also an extra extent to where to protect myself from uncertainty, I might make my fears real. For instance, in the past, I got out of this bad habit, but in the past, what I would do is with dating, if I was so afraid of uncertainty that if I was uncertain how a girl felt about me, I would just push her away. In my first relationship, I broke up with her because I was uncertain about how she felt about me. I was uncertain about whether we were compatible. Instead of having a vulnerable conversation, I decided that it was easier to make things certain as quick as possible. And the way that I made things certain was to uh, break up with her. And Jesus, my nose is too stuffed. Too stuffed. Like a stuffed crust of pizza with cheese and bacon and stuff. But unfortunately, it doesn't smell as good. But I made things certain by pushing her away. And if I pushed a girl away, then I was in control again. And that's an issue not just with girls that I and others have. I've seen it in others. People talk about it in a lot too when they talk about their issues. It's not just in girls; it's also in jobs. If somebody is maybe you think you're on the chopping block. You think your boss is not super happy with you. So what you might do is you might pick at the scab. You might try to do things that bother your boss a little more, so that it's now certain. Now it's you're not sure how your boss feels about you, but you're afraid that your boss might not like your work. So you annoy him somehow, and over time and over time and over time, your boss you might get your boss to yell at you or to get mad at you or to maybe even fire you because you want that certainty. You would rather a negative outcome and be certain about what's going to happen than a positive outcome for now but be uncertain about when it's going to go. And I realize that that is one of my biggest issues in life. That is the one of my current biggest obstacles in life is how do I be uncertain, because for a lot of long-term goals you have to be uncertain for a long period of time, in money, in business, in dating, in most things. You have to be most things that are worth it for a long period of time. You have to be uncertain about what's going to happen. And you could be tempted to be like, oh, okay, well, let me just not work at it because now it's certain. Now, if you don't work at it, if you quit, you have created certainty for yourself. It's not success or failure that you're afraid of. it's uncertainty. It's the uncertainty of being in progress between your start and your finish, between when you started working towards a goal and when you finished working towards a goal. And that uncertainty is fucking grueling. It is hard to sit with. It is so hard to sit with. And I wish I could tell you a solution right now. This is something I'm going through. And talking about it for me helps me get my thoughts out. So I'll let me just riff a little more since I told you this would be a rambly, vulnerable. I started my chest's a little bit out, but I shaved my chest because I'm restarting my cut. I'm not where I want to be, and I mean I'm in a good place. Even though like I'm pushing out my stomach, you still see my abs, so like it's nice, but it helps me feel you know like I'm on a cut when I shave because you can see my muscle structure more. So anyway, that's why I'm hairless on my front at least right now. But like, how could you deal with uncertainty? One of the things that's helped me is meditation every morning. That helps me sit with my feelings, whether they're comfortable or uncomfortable. I like to think of my feelings as the weather. Some days I feel great, some days I feel bad, and it doesn't always correlate with what I think I should feel. So it's kind of like the weather. It's somewhat unpredictable. There are things I can do to feel the best I can feel, but I'm not in control of my feelings. I'm in control of my environment, and to some extent, I'm in control of my mind, which both all those things influence my feelings. So I can direct my feelings in a certain way, but sometimes a storm comes and it's not really under my control. So I like to see my feelings as the weather. I am the container for my feelings, and my feelings do it. Like I let my feelings flow through me, and so meditation is a really good way to be the container, to be the observer of the feelings. If you want to have that, I like thinking of it as a masculine feminine polarity. The feminine is the emotion, and the masculine is the container for the emotion. And it's like the river and the banks of the river. If there are no banks of the river, you just have a flood. But if there are just banks and no river, then it would be a boring, dry riverbed. You need both. You need the river, the water, and you need the banks of the river. And the banks of the river, the job is to be strong and to let the water flow through it. And so meditation helps me sit in that observer state and kind of be the banks of the river and let everything flow through me. And that helps me sit with uncomfortable emotions, because my fear of uncertainty is really all it is just an uncomfortable emotion. It's a reaction to things that are going on, and that reaction is, oh, things are uncertain, I'm afraid. Things are uncertain, I'm afraid. Things are uncertain, I don't know what's going to happen, I'm afraid. And if I just step back, observe that, then things get easier. So I don't want to react. I don't want to stop the flow of the water to make things certain. I don't want to stop the good things in my life to make things certain, because that is it makes things certain, but that's not a good goal. That's not a good strategy to achieve your goals. So I guess the solution is meditation. What are some other solutions? That's one solution. It's a good solution. It's a maintenance thing. You want to do that every single day, at least 5 minutes, probably more. What else? Journaling is also good. Journaling really helps me work through things. Being vulnerable. I mean, also these videos help me, even though of course they help you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching 8 minutes and 57 seconds in. But they also help me because I'm articulating myself and I'm processing myself as I'm sharing these concepts. And so for you, journaling does the same thing. I journal. I make journals by myself. Like I make journals from scratch. I teach people how to make journals, and I journal. And journaling for me is a way I can process things and allow and have I guess a river that can hold more water. Like the more I journal, the more emotions flow through me, and the better and stronger I can be as a riverbank for my emotions, and the more in my life I can sustain, the more good things in my life, because every good thing comes with an implicit I don't want to be disappointed, and that I don't want to be disappointed a is a fear of uncertainty of like, is this gonna stay? And that's some emotions that I have to work through. When I have good things in my life, that's usually when I self sabotage, because that's when I want to make things certain. I might have a fear that's like, oh, I feel good about this right now, but I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where this is going to go. It might be pulled under for me, and it might be pulled out from under me, and I have to make things certain. I'm so afraid. I would rather not be afraid. So let me pull it out from under myself, and now I'm not afraid. And that is not a good thing in the end. And processing that, journaling that, and meditation can really help. It really helps me, and can really help you when you're feeling the same things. So I hope this spoke to you. And this is second for today. I'm all caught up, which feels nice. And yeah, subscribe if you like it and all that jazz. And I will see you next one tomorrow.